The Spartans. You know them. The media loves them. When Spartans are used in marketing, it garners a lot of attention. However, the Spartans are different in these cases compared to the historical Spartans. And I want to review that. So, using my knowledge of history, we're going to look at a few different things like the general military power, the culture, and their impact on history as a whole. The last category, which comes after their impact on history, is my personal feelings about them, because I do have quite a lot of feelings. So, with that said, let's get into the video. The Spartan city-state emerged somewhere circa the 9th century BC as an oligarchic warrior people of the Doric Greeks. Lycurgus, a semi-legendary lawgiver, apparently caused the shift to a militaristic state, giving the typical warrior representation that the Spartans have. On the topic of governing, it was not only an oligarchy, but it was also a bi-monarchy. There were two ruling families who had one man each from their house go and act as a king, though the kings were only first among equals, like the Roman princeps. And so the oligarchy was there to ensure that they didn't abuse their power, which is really cool. And their culture is honestly quite interesting. So, they actually had a deep respect for mothers and women because, they brought you into the world and mothers are a big deal. And so, they also, as a warrior society, were almost constantly training. They really didn't have any advanced technology like the Romans did with their aqueducts and stuff. In fact, the Spartans lived pretty simple farming lives, not really working on big structures that we really know of. That really says something because their main rivals, the Athenians, who I'll talk about in another video, were all about their culture and expanding it. The Spartans also don't have much writing, at least that has survived since the Romans absolutely destroyed them. Their general power during this period of time, the the Persian Wars and the Peloponnesian War, they were the height of the military power in the world. There was no one that rivaled them because they trained constantly. They trained hard. They trained since they were like 7 years old. That's how long it goes. They were required to work in the military until they were at least 35, I think it was. And so this led to them, as well as having some really nice battle tactics, to absolutely destroying all their enemies. So that part that they show in the media is pretty true. However, after the Peloponnesian War, their power fell apart and they really weren't the same anymore. They had managed to turn Greece into an Athens into an oligarchy, and the Spartans just lost all their fire, all their passion. And that's eventually what led to their death and extermination at the hands of the Romans. Now, wars. Everybody loves the wars. So the Second Persian War, which was fought between 481 BC and 478 BC, was the second war that the Persians had trying to invade Greece. And into this war comes the famous story of Leonidas's 300 standing up against the million strong army of the Persians at Thermopylae. And the way that media represents it, I actually haven't seen anything on this topic, like a fictional work, but I'd say that from what I know, it's honestly represented pretty accurately, except for, maybe they kill a bit more in the movies than they realistically would have in real life. But Leonidas was a really cool guy. Like, this man was a Chad. Anyways, Now, honestly, the Battle of Thermopylae is what caused the Greeks to win the Second Persian War. Without that last stand at Thermopylae, the Athenians wouldn't have had time to get their triremes ready for the Battle of Salamis, where they finally defeated the Persians. And so I think that is actually one of the most impactful battles in all of ancient history. And so this loss to Athens and the greatest in war kind of hurt their pride. And so as tensions grew and grew, the Peloponnesian War happened. This was a civil war, a war pitted between Athens and its allies and Sparta and its allies. A battle which would change the history of the world. It really is a shame what happened, but the Spartans won, and as I mentioned earlier, they turned Athens into an oligarchy, which, Athens was the democracy, the true democracy. And so that led to the downfall and the loss of values in the Athenians. Oh, yeah, by the way, the Peloponnese are what everybody else called the Spartans, basically. Fun little history fact. And now, my honest opinion on the Spartans. Would they defeat an army of knights? No, they would not. Would they defeat an army of Romans? We already know they didn't. But I still think that they're a really cool culture. Like, we don't know much because a lot of it was destroyed, but they're still super cool. In fact, the Second Persian War and the Peloponnesian War were my favorite subjects in Western civilization that I had that year. So, for my out of 10 result, I'd say 7 out of 10. They weren't the best. They kind of ruined Athens. But other than that, they were still pretty cool. Now, if you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. That would mean a lot to me. We're already a fifth of the way to 100 subscribers, so that's pretty cool. Thank you all for your support. And Sparta. Let me know what kind of videos you want in the comments. And if you like this video, make sure to tell me. Um, and I'll probably do more. So, that out of the way, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Geeks out.